All right, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I am very excited because I'm going to talk about no-code search applications in SharePoint Online. My name is Agnes Molnar, and right now I am sitting in my home office, which I guess most of you do the same. I am very excited to be here at this marathon today, and also I would like to invite you to the Microsoft 365 Collaboration Conference next March in Vegas, which is going to be exciting again, and I hope to see you there as well. In person. I really hope that we can make it there. And of course, thank you for the sponsors for making this conference possible. So a couple of words about me. My name is Agnes Molnar. I live in Budapest, Hungary. And I founded a company called Search Explained, where we, in a nutshell, we explain how search works in the Microsoft ecosystem, SharePoint and Office 365. So basically what I do is trainings, workshops, and also consulting around the world for our clients. I have been working with SharePoint basically for forever, since the very beginning in 2001. And I started to work with search a couple of years later, and that's been my primary focus since then. I speak at events and conferences around the world every year, many times. This year is really a very special one. I spent the last 2.5 months in my home office here instead of traveling. But other than that, I travel a lot. I speak at events, do workshops, and speak at conferences. And I have been a Microsoft MVP for 12 years in SharePoint and Office 365 and Office servers and services. So today I'm going to talk about search. I don't think it's a big surprise for you guys. And the main focus is how to create a custom solution in Office 365 and how to create a modern search solution in Office 365. But first of all, let me do an overview of what we have in SharePoint Online and what options we have in Office 365 when it comes to search, because these days it's still a little bit fuzzy. So first of all, technically speaking, we still have what is called a classic search, which you can customize, which you can create your own search center with your custom settings, custom refiners, display templates, and everything. But basically, this can be considered to be a legacy search these days because it is classic and not modern, so you cannot add it to your modern sites. And also, it has not been changed, it has not been evolved, it has not been improved in the last at least 6 or maybe even more years. So we do have this option. If you have invested to it, you still can use those your search, your classic search in SharePoint Online, but it would not be my recommendation if you start from scratch now. So what else? So this is the first option, and I know that many of my clients and many of you guys already invested into classic, but this is definitely not the future. So what else we have there? We have Microsoft Search, which instead of talking about, I'm going to show you in a second. And Microsoft Search is basically across the whole Microsoft 365 ecosystem, you can find it everywhere. So for example, I am on a SharePoint site right now. This is a very simple site. I store all the presentations, video recordings, and everything that belong to any of the events I speak at. So this site contains, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years presentations. So if I do a search on this site here, I get the results from Microsoft Search, and those are my presentations. And it is, number one, it is personalized. So it reflects my recent activities and all the relationships that the Microsoft Graph stores about me. And number two, it is context sensitive, meaning it shows me the results from this site only by default. So as you can see, I can see a lot of presentations here. I can expand them. I can see what's inside a presentation without opening the file itself. So basically I can do many things here, but there is one pain point here. We cannot customize this option, this Microsoft Search. So if I open up the filters, for example, you can see that I can filter by the last modified time, or if I switch to the files only, I have the file type and the last modified time. But I cannot add my custom refiners. I cannot define custom display templates, how the results are being displayed here. Custom verticals, nothing. So this is an out-of-the-box experience, which is very powerful because it is personalized, it is context sensitive, but at the same time, you cannot customize it. But one benefit of this Microsoft Search is that it is everywhere in Microsoft 365. So if I switch to Teams, for example, I can do a search here. And if I do the same search, I can search for messages, I can search for people, and also I can search for files that are shared with me here. The same in OneDrive. If I search for the same thing in OneDrive, I get the files results from my OneDrive, from other people's OneDrive, which the files that are shared with me, and also from SharePoint document libraries. So wherever you go in Microsoft 365, you have the same Microsoft search experience. And also, if you go to Bing, and you can see that I am logged in with my account here, if I do a search for something, you can see that I've got Microsoft Search results here. And if I open it up, I have people, groups, sites, and files and conversations from our tenant. And you can see the URL for each result here is searchexplain.sharepoint.com, which means that those are all coming from our tenant, but of course, everything here is security trimmed. This is super important about search, that wherever you go, whatever you search for, whatever results you see, everything is security trimmed. So you can only see things that you have permissions to. All right, so this is good and this is great, but as I said, you cannot customize. So far we have two options. One is the classic search, which you can customize, but it is classic and it's the old style search, and you have this modern Microsoft Search, but you cannot customize it. So let me show you the third option that we have, and this is going to be the focus of this presentation today. So you can see I have an additional search box embedded to this page. And if I do the same search, this is a modern page, you can see. And if I do a search here, I have the search results here. I have filters. I can search for the year. I can search for location. or the name of the conference. As I said, I'm storing presentations on this site. So basically what you can see here is I have created a custom modern search application or a search page on a modern page in SharePoint Online, and I can customize it. I can change, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I can change how those results look like. I can change what refiners I have here, and you can see those are my custom metadata fields. So basically, this is a kind of good mixture or a good third option because it is modern, but I can customize it. But as you can see, this is added to a SharePoint page, so this is available in SharePoint Online only. We cannot do this, I don't know, in OneDrive, for example, or we cannot do this in Bing. So we have those three options. And now let me go back to my presentation to compare those three options because it is super important to understand the differences between those. So first of all, the classic search that we know is in SharePoint Online. You can create a classic search center in SharePoint Online. Basically, the SharePoint Online Classic Search Center is about the same as a SharePoint Search Center was in SharePoint 2013 or 2016. There is not too much difference from the end user's perspective. But again, this can be added to SharePoint Online only. The Microsoft Search, or the Modern Search as many knows it, is across Microsoft 365. And basically, you can find it everywhere. You can even find it in your Office client, in Word, in PowerPoint, on the suite where you can see the same search box, and you can use the same engine as you do in SharePoint Online, as you do in Teams, OneDrive, or also Bing. Microsoft Search in Bing also uses the same search engine. And also the user experiences are consolidated. So basically, you have the same consolidated search everywhere. And the third option, which I was using for the custom modern search page, is called the PnP Modern Search. The PMP Modern Search is a PMP library. I'm going to show you how you can download it and how you can deploy it to your tenant. Basically, this is not out of the box SharePoint. This is not out of the box Office 365. You have to download it as a PMP library. You have to deploy it to your tenant, and you can add it to SharePoint Online. And then on your SharePoint Online pages, you can add those modern web parts to build your custom PMP search solution. So once again, the classic search and the Microsoft Search, the first two options, are out of the box. The third one, the PMP library, has to be deployed from the PMP library, and has to be this has to be done manually. The next thing to know about each of those is that the classic search can be customized. So if you have requirements to create custom pages, custom refiners, custom display templates, how the results are being displayed, custom result sources, or custom ranking, then you can do this in classic search in SharePoint Online. And also you can do this with the PMP library. But you cannot customize Microsoft Search out of the box, or you cannot customize it yet. Classic Search is legacy. No updates, no enhancements, no improvements for many years now. and no upcoming improvements either. Instead, Microsoft is investing all its resources to Microsoft Search. And the PMP Modern Search library is also being improved and also being enhanced. So both the Microsoft Search and the PMP Search are modern and updated on a regular basis. And therefore, my recommendation would be to use any of those. As I said, no more updates for Classic Search. For the PMP and Modern Search, there are regular updates, new features coming, new improvements coming. For example, and especially for the Microsoft Search out of the box, you can even discover new things from one day to the other. And it's a kind of very cool thing that it is being updated quite often. And depending on your culture, on your organizational culture, and depending on your requirements, it might be a pro and also a con. That for Microsoft Search, you have no control over the updates, and you cannot do anything, and you don't have to do anything to have your tenant updated. For the PMP Modern Search library, you are responsible for the update, so you have to download the updated package and you have to deploy it to your tenant. As I said, depending on your requirements, it might be good or it might be an additional responsibility that you have to have. But you have to know about it, and you have to be aware of those things. So how to get the PMP library? As I said, it is not included out of the box in Microsoft Search and in Microsoft 365. So you can see the URL, and you will see the URL in my presentation later. So you can download it and you can deploy it to the app catalog on your tenant, and then it will be available on your modern pages. So let me switch back to my site again, and let me create a new page, and let me show you how to use those PMP web parts, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks of how to work with those web parts and how to work with the PMP library. So I'm going to create a new page, and it's going to be a blank page. The name will be Search, and I don't need this large picture here. I want it to be as simple as possible. And now I'm going to add the web parts. And if you have been working with search, you know we need a couple of web parts to make it work. First, we need a search box. And second, we need a search result set. We need some filters. If we expect many results, we need search pagination to be able to turn the pages. And we can add more, but those are the basic web parts that will be needed. So let me start with the search box first. So I have to search for search in the web part gallery, and you can see I have 6 web parts here. Those web parts are coming from the PMP Modern Search library. Out of the box, you don't have any of them available. So to have those web parts, you have to install the PMP library first. Okay, so let me add the search box first, and then the search results set. For now, let me start with those 2. For the search box, I don't really have too many options to configure the search box. I'm going to use the dynamic data source later. For now, let me enable the query suggestions, and that's it. For the results web part, I need to do a couple of more steps to make it work. So first of all, I can enter a query if I had a predefined query that I want to use in this web part, but instead of that, I'm going to connect it to the query box, to the search query box. So once again, I clicked on this ellipsis here, and here I can see the connect to source. And the source in my case is a search box and the search query here. I've got an interesting message here. Let me see if it works. Let me filter for this site only. If it doesn't work, I can go back to the page I was using for my demo a couple of minutes ago. But just in case, I am filtering for this site only. I would like to get the documents only, so I'm filtering for is document 1, and I would like to exclude the ASPX pages. For now, that's it. And I'm going to switch to a simple list, and let's see what we have here. There you go. I've got results for metadata, and you can see that I have over 400 presentations, or at least 400 files on this site. And you can see that even some tags are being displayed. The last modification dates are being displayed. If I click on a result, I can see the preview of this result. So it's quite neat out of the box. Let's see what else we can add. So we have a search box. We have the search results. Let's see what else we have here. So now I am going to play with the search results a little bit. And if I scroll down here, I can see edit synonyms. This sounds really interesting, at least for me. So, for example, let me add a synonym for metadata as taxonomy and define it as a two-way synonym. So if I search for metadata, also the results for taxonomy will be displayed, and vice versa. If I search for taxonomy, the results for metadata will be displayed. If you remember, I had 439-ish results until now. And now I can, let's say I can change the display template, for example, to tiles. And that's it for now. Let's see what else we have. I'm going to do a search for metadata again. And now I have 478, so approximately 40 more results, because I defined those synonyms that might be really important for your business. If I search for taxonomy, I should get the same number of results. The order of results is different because of the ranking, but the number is the same, so I get the same results being displayed, but in different order. All right, so we have a search box, we have search results. We also changed how the results are being displayed. Instead of the 10 blue lines list experience, we display them on tiles. Now we would like to have filters or refiners. So I'm going to add a web part, and I'm searching for search again. And let's add search filters here. So if I add search filters, I get the Search Refiners web port here. And if I open its configuration, I can connect it to a search results web port, and I can select the search results web port, which means this refiner web port sends the filters to this search results web port. And if I go back to the search results web port properties, I have to turn on to connect this search results web port to a refiner web port so that this result web port receives the filters from this web port. Okay, so this is a two-way connection. The search filters web port have to be connected to the search results so that it sends the filters. On the other hand, the search results web port has to be connected to the search filters web port so that it receives those filters. Okay, so this two-way connection now is set. Let me go back to my refiner web port. And two more things that you can see here. I can define the layout for this web port. It can be a vertical layout or it can be a panel. The vertical layout is approximately the same as we know from the classic search. On the left-hand side, you can see the filters. The panel is the modern experience that we have everywhere in Office 365. So for now, I'm going to use the panel experience. And here I can edit my refiners. This is where I can see the out-of-the-box filter values. And I don't need most of them, like file size and those kind of things. Instead, I would like to use my custom refiners so that I have prepared a couple of properties, managed properties. So if I open this drop down, you can see. Yes, it's much easier to see this way. So you can see I have a lot of refinable managed properties. And if I scroll down to refinable ones, I have a couple of ones which have values, but from this, we have no idea which one to use, right? So we need some help. So how to figure out which one we need here? The answer is in the search query tool. If you are familiar with this tool, then good for you. If you are not, I highly recommend to download it. Again, this tool can be found on GitHub as well. The name of the tool is SharePoint Search Query Tool. And after connecting to your, after downloading this tool, you can use it to debug and troubleshoot search in SharePoint on-prem and also in SharePoint Online. You don't have to install this tool. It just download, unzip, and there is an executable file which you open up and you can use it instantly. So it's very simple. It can be run on any laptop or any computer. You just need connection to the SharePoint environment. So I have a connection now, and you can see that I use the same query here. So I'm filtering for my events site, I'm filtering for documents, and I am excluding the ASPX files. And if I run this query on the primary results tab here, I can find a couple of documents, and for example, this one is a presentation. And if you are not sure which property to use, one way to figure it out is to open up the managed properties, and here is the list of the managed properties for this document. So I selected the PPT X file in the result set, and here you can see all the managed properties. I'm going to scroll down to the refinable properties, and I have one which is refinable integer 01. This is 2009, and I know that this is the year of the event, so I'm going to use this one. Refinable string 01 is SE events. This is the name of the site. Refinable string 07 is the name of the conference, and 08 is the location. So those are the managed properties that I'm going to use. And also I have some other managed properties, the location, event name, which are there in the search index, but those are not refinable properties, so I cannot use them in my search filter web part. So let me go back here. So I need the refinable integer 01, which is the year. I'm going to use, let's say, the default refinement, alphabetical and ascending order. Then I need the refinable string 07, which was the event name, the default refinable item, number of results, descending order, and refinable string 008, and this was the location. Okay, let me use the same settings here, and let me a little bit reordering. So first year, second location, third event name, and the last one will be the created date. Okay, so now I set up my refiners, and my refinement panel should have this panel, this modern panel user interface. So if I republish the page, I search for metadata, I get the same number of results, but now I have this filters option here. If I click on that, here are my filters, the year, the location, and the event name. So let's choose Orlando, Florida, for example, and you can see I got 66. And if I choose the event name for Microsoft Ignite, then only one presentation will be displayed. Okay, so this is the filter web part, and if I want to remove any of those filters, I can do it right here. It's very easy and very straightforward to use. So what we've got so far? So far, we created a modern page with a search box, with search results, with filters, with synonyms. One more thing that I would like to show you is, now that we have real results, is that I can change how the results are being displayed easily. Moreover, you can also define your custom templates. So whatever you like with custom metadata, with custom actions, with custom look and feel, you can do it here. And also you can add search pagination to turn the pages, because you can see here only a couple of results are being displayed, but I have almost 500, so I need a search pagination. You can create search verticals and everything. So this can be a real lifesaver if you need a custom search application. However, one kind of confusing thing is that we have two search boxes here. We have this out-of-the-box search box on top of here, which drives us to the Microsoft Search page, and we have this custom search box here, which provides the results on this page here. So once again, if I do a search on top here, I am redirected to this out-of-the-box search, which has nothing to do here. So the last option I would like to show you is a kind of cool option in SharePoint Online. So I'm going to go to the site settings, and in the site collection settings here, I have this search settings. And here we have which search results page should the queries be sent to. If I add my custom search pages URL here, and once again to check that this URL is correct, this is the URL that I have just created. So if I search for metadata here, this is the page that I have created a couple of minutes ago. So this is really what I need. I am lost. Search settings. Yes, I was here. So what I'm doing here is the default was this setting, use the same result page settings as my parent. Instead of this, I'm going to use a custom results page URL, and this URL is the URL of my custom search page that I have created with the PMP web parts. So I'm going to save those settings here, back to my events home, and if I am lucky and I do a search for metadata, there you go, I am on the right page, but it still does not receive the query. Something is still missing. All right, so I have two URL parameters here, the Q parameter and the K parameter. That might be something for us. So let me edit and edit the properties of the search query box. And I told you I'm going to use the dynamic data source later. And this dynamic data source is a page environment, a query string, a URL, a query parameter, sorry, and I'm going to use the Q parameter for now. And as you can see, I have the query in the Q parameter in the URL. So once again, I have created the page, I changed the settings for the site collection, and now I had to change the settings for the search query box on my page to receive the query parameter from the URL, and the URL gets this parameter from this suite-bar search box. So if I go back to the home of my site again, and I do a different search now for taxonomy, there you go. I have entered the query to the top suite-bar search box, and my custom search box received this query, and the search results web part is showing the results for this query. So I am all set on this site collection. Whenever someone does a search on the suite bar, this will be redirected to my custom page. Okay, so once again, you can create this page anywhere in SharePoint Online in your tenant. You can redirect the queries from any of the site collections to here. So this way you can create a kind of enterprise search center, a custom search center in your organization, but you have to set it on each site collection where you want to redirect the queries here. And but other than that, it can be a really powerful and a really useful option to use. And actually, I have time to show you one more thing before I wrap up this session. So let me go back to home. And basically, what you can see here is documents from this site. So latest presentations, it's really nothing surprising or nothing nothing new, you would say. But basically, this web part is also a search results web part. And you can see that I'm using a query for the same site is document 1. I'm allowing the file extension PDF. Let me remove this for now. So I can see only the presentations, the PowerPoint files now. And let me go back and go here, and you can see I'm using the tiles layout here. But again, I could use the details, I could use the simple list. This is the same search results web part with no search box, with no filters, with no anything. So you can also, the thing I would like to show you is that you can use the same search results web part on any page, anywhere in your SharePoint Online environment to show custom content. In this case, I'm showing custom content from this site, but it could be anything from anywhere in your tenant. So you can show the latest documents that are waiting for my approval, or you can show tasks where I am assigned to, or you can show the most or highlighted content or whatever. The most important thing is you have to be able to express this as a search query. Last but not least, if you need this functionality, again, this is the PMP search result web part. So you need the PMP solution for this. Let me remove this one and let me show you what we have out of the box if you need this functionality, but if you don't use the PMP library yet. We have this highlighted content web part. And even a couple of months ago, the highlighted content web part was a kind of, I would not say ugly, but it was not too nice. So, but today I can use it for many things. So I can put together filters. So, for example, I can filter for this site or one document library, selected sites or all sites, or if I'm in a hub, I can filter for the sites that belong to this hub. I can filter for types of content, and the document type in my case would be PowerPoint. And there you go, instantly I have the same PowerPoint files, so I can actually use this as a power user. I don't have to be a developer. Or if I have more complex requirements, I can switch to the custom query option, and then I can enter my query in KQL. The KQL is the keyword query language, and I can use the same as the path is the URL of this site, etc., etc. So everything that I used earlier can be used here. So once again, this is a highlighted content web part. This is useful if you want to embed search-driven content to your modern pages in Office 365. But this highlighted content web part cannot be connected to the search box, or it cannot be connected to filters or anything else. You have to predefine the queries for that. You can achieve the same functionality or even a little more with the PMP search results report if you embed that to any of your pages. Or if you need a custom search solution, then you have to create a custom search page, a custom modern page, add the PMP reports, and then change the settings of your site collection. And then you will have this experience. So if somebody enters a query to the SweetBar search box, then all the results will be displayed on your custom page. And of course, you can mix these together. You can use those options together if you like. So basically, this is what I wanted to show you today. Once again, you can deploy the PMP Modern Search library from GitHub. And also you can download the search query tool from GitHub. Everything is free. It's available for free. And if you have any questions, I think we still have a couple of minutes so that I can answer your questions, or drop me a message or drop me an email later as well. Don't forget that there is a raffle for this conference. So visit the vendor booth, the sessions, and watch the videos and submit your answers, and you can win. And of course, don't forget to support the charities. And even if just with a few dollars or euros or whatever currency you use, it's important. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate if you submit your feedback. If you like these sessions, or if you did not like this session, it's always good to know what to improve next time. And as I said, if you have any questions, just drop me a message here in Teams or drop me an email. And I am more than happy to help you with anything that is search in SharePoint and or Office 365. Thank you very much, and stay safe and take care. I am just opening the Q&A. What are the top 5 search customizings for a better search experience for end users? It's a question for David. I love this question, David. You will hate my response because it depends. I always recommend, number one, always decide what results are relevant for the users and filter out everything that is not relevant. One of my favorite examples is filter out all the Christmas party pictures and those kind of things, because and everything that has no business value. This would be definitely number one for everybody. Number two, define what refiners would be useful for your users. And then really it depends. Custom display templates, custom verticals, custom result types. There are many options. Many options, and really it depends on your requirements and the user's need. There are a couple of questions about hub sites. Yes, if you are in a hub site, the default is that the top suite bar shows results from that hub, and also you can filter for that hub. in your custom pages if you like. So it is possible. Oh, a lot of hub site questions. How can I promote popular content? Question from David again. In Microsoft Search, we have the option for creating bookmarks, locations, Q&A, abbreviations, and all those kind of things for Microsoft Search. In Classic Search and PMP Search, the query rules have to be created to promote results. Basically, this is a draft blog post I'm going to publish in a couple of days. This comparison between the query rules and the bookmarks. Those are the basic options. Okay, I've got many more questions, but I think my time is over, or being over very soon. I am trying to answer all those questions in private, and if I don't get to answer your question for some reason, just drop me an email and I'm happy to continue, or drop me a chat message here in Teams and I am happy to continue the discussion. Thank you guys, take care.